answer any questions for you if I can. Hello. Try to refresh here and make sure I see. Everything. Hello. Nora, I don't know how to pronounce that. Naka? N-A-N-A-C-A. Hello. Can you guys see me okay? You hear me, that's great. Okay, let me fix this camera. I thought it was my face is cut off. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. How do you set up a puppy for failure when it comes to resource guarding? I have seen Amelia attacked twice over a bone. Yeah, we have a couple in my group. I would say right now the two that are the most aggressive, if you want to call it, are Amelia and Jet. And like today, right after feeding, I took them out on Puppy Hill in groups of 4. I kind of set them up in a position that I'm not encouraging the behavior, but I'm certainly not, I'm giving them an opportunity to be in a group. In my opinion, they tend to get ramped up when there's more activity, thus allowing them to have that behavior come to head. And me being right there to reprimand the behavior, whether it be with my voice. Today I had the bat out, so they were a little like, oh, she means business. Or if the dog is getting really aggressive, if I'm right there, I'll grab the dog by the neck, quickly pin the dog to the ground and release, showing dominance over that dog. And most times, they'll stop in that particular instance. And the more times we do that, the goal is that the less likely they're going to be to be aggressive. But sometimes we just have dogs that work in this, that come up through the farm. That's just their personality, and sometimes we can overcome it, and sometimes we can't. So we obviously give them many, many opportunities and training opportunities to kind of correct that behavior. So right now we're still in that really early stage with the two of them. That I don't feel like it's indicative of their overall personality. Both are really, really great in the vest. They're great out in public, so it's, I wouldn't say, oh, we're going to wash them out right now because of that. My opinion is also to say that a dog that's like that here at the farm could be completely different as a service dog, living either on their own or in a home environment, with their person. I mean, some dogs just aren't farm dogs, and they respond so much better, say, when they're at my house or one of our houses for overnight or weekend stay. They're completely different in their behavior and mannerisms. So we certainly try to exhaust all options. I know that was a really long answer, but I just wanted to say why and how we kind of work through all that. Did you get snow there today? It's just starting to snow, just a little bit, some slight flurries.
I think we're supposed to get, the last I checked
was like 1 to 3 inches here, roughly. Do you train the dogs to walk differently in snow, ice when a recipient is depending on them? I do. I mean, I try to out in public or even on the farm. I definitely walk at a super slow pace when I'm out above the ice, so that obviously I don't want to fall, but so that the dog realizes that, hey, in this situation we have to take even more cautious steps, even more time to kind of get through this environment. Here.
If a prospective recipient was not vocal, would you consider using a whistle or a clicker?
Carly, in my opinion, I don't think she doesn't really like the clicker training. I guess the best example of a dog recently that we worked with would be Rogue, who was paired with Melissa, who is deaf. When I communicate with Melissa, she kind of, along with signing or reading lips, she does have a slight whisper. And for whatever reason, granted, we haven't trained the dog specifically to someone who doesn't use a lot of verbal cues. In fact, obviously, a lot of our training is opposite of that when we're teaching the dog to listen and have, listen to our conversation with them. But somehow, and I just think it's just like seizure alert dogs, somehow those dogs know how to work with their person. I'm a strong believer that if the dog is connected to the recipient in such a way that any of our dogs are connected to us as their owners, they'll do anything for you. I kind of equate it to Tony. That dog will do, he's been through basic service dog training. I haven't taken him out in a vest in a very long time, but he will do anything I ask him to do. And so I think it's just Rogue has to pay attention to Melissa in a different way. There's a lot of eye contact. There's a lot of hand signals. So I think rather than defaulting to a sound or a clicker, I would say first you would probably want to work on hand and eye contact rather than the auditory. But I do know Melissa was trying to work with Rogue on alerting her, like when the doorbell rang, things like that. So I personally haven't had any experience with that specific training, but I do know it's a possibility. Hi, Katie. Do you see a difference in personalities when training between male and female dogs? I do. I touched on this a few weeks ago. For some reason, I feel like the males are more emotional. To me, like they just have these little soulful eyes, and when they're in a vest, at least they're very connected, and they're more apt to pay attention and focus on you than the girls. The girls either seem to be like super independent or just flighty. Not that they're bad, it's just a different way of handling it. So I kind of think their personalities are a little bit different in general, but then even more so, each dog is totally different. I can take all the calories and minions and specifically, have a certain cue word or something to describe their personality, and they're all very different. Do Danes require boots in snowy weather? They do have boots on the market. I have, yes, owned a pair. My dogs never really liked to wear them, so I was just like, forget it. I personally prefer a product called Vermont Bag Balm. It's kind of like the texture of a Vaseline, a thicker, like lanolin Vaseline. You can buy it on Amazon. Sometimes Walgreens carries them. You don't have to use very much. They either come in like a little 1-ounce can or a 9-ounce can, something like that. But the product is great. I usually wipe it on the bottom of my dog's feet in the sand and ice. And to me, it's just as much protection than boots. We don't put the dogs here in boots to go out and run. They're animals. Have you ever worked with one of the breeds of Great Danes that they use in dog shows, or do you or Carly notice a difference in temperament? Do you think that is why they thought that Great Danes would not be good service dogs? Have you ever worked with a breed of Great Dane they use in a dog show?
Have I ever worked with a breed?
Great Dane. I don't really understand that. I'm trying to understand the question. Have you ever worked with one of the breeds of Great Danes they've used in dog shows, or do you or Carly notice a difference in temperament?
Do you think that is why they thought Great Danes would not be good service dogs?
Well, there is no separate breed of...
Maybe they're thinking like American versus
European. They're different sizes and shapes, and certainly we have concentrated on the type that we like, both in temperament and shape. But also, it's a great deal in the way that they're handled. There's hardly anybody that trains like we do. And I don't know how many, just somebody today who I was impressed with, I can't remember who it was, has come to the conclusion that Great Danes are different. They've handled a whole bunch of dogs. They finally got themselves a Great Dane. All of a sudden they say, this isn't like the other dogs we've had. Great Danes are different, and you train them differently. I keep saying we educate ours. You talk to them like a small child. You don't order them around and make them put their foot on their head or sit up or shake hands or do all those silly things that you can get a Jack Russell
And they
to do.
think. And they think. They do. Today I worked on downstairs in the feed room. And I'll have one that'll, they'll get up, I do it on the veranda, they'll get up on the veranda, and I'll have a cookie in my hand, I'll tap in front, and I'll say down. And they'll sit up there and they're staring at your hand. And then I'll look at them and I'll say, think about it. And you can just see their little minds working. And then all of a sudden, sure enough, I'll say it again, and slowly they'll break, they just need time to...
I thought it was very interesting when the people were filming here. I don't know whether the camera was on anybody or not, but it's cold out. And we didn't want to play outside at all. So we had a puppy, I forgot who it was, on a leash in the kitchen. And she was walking around in circles. And he walked around in circles twice. And the next time he came around, he said, what the hell is this? We should be over there. I can go lie down and be very comfortable. And she was just trying to demonstrate, which he did very well, the fact that when she stopped, he stopped. There was no leash tightening, there was no nothing. When she hesitated, he hesitated. Except when he got to the corner where he really thought that it made much more sense to come out here and lie down. And you could just see the dog thinking, and then she talked to him, and they go around again. We don't train our dogs by walking around in circles. The dogs would not understand that. You lose them.
I find more onto that is I find that when I take a dog out, I kind of hit everything on my list, but usually only once. Like, I don't sit here and go up the stairs and come back down, go up the stairs and come back down. I mean, then they're going to be why.
That's right. Why are we doing that?
Why are we going in circles? So usually I kind of go through the list. I might spend a little bit more time on downstay or whatever, but I don't just do repetitive motions. And then like downstays in the feed room, I mean, I did it 2 or 3 times, but that's it. But they were getting rewarded with the cookies. A little bit different. Anyway.
The only time I do something repetitively would be like that deal I got into with the checkout counters that had balloons over them. And it took me 75 times to go around the circle to get that dog used to that damn balloon. But that is a repetitive kind of deal.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to flood the situation because you're getting a negative reaction
Right.
in the first place. But other than that, no. You go lead life and straighten it out as you go.
Just let them acclimate, right?
What do we think of the AKC
certification K9 Good Citizenship?
I think it's a good deal.
I do too.
I used to be an examiner for that.
Oh, really?
I did. But it's paperwork, and I never could keep it straight.
No, I think it's good. People want to take the time.
It's a very good program. Good program for kids. It gives them a goal.
Right.
You get a reward if you make it. Things like that. It's a good program. That's one of the very few programs of the AKC that I do think is one of, along with their cane, their.
How do you do the pin with a large dog that shows dominance? Obviously, you can't pin the dog to the ground and release. You're talking about that. You hit it with a water bottle.
I like water bottles myself.
A bigger dog is not gonna. A bigger Dane, at least, is not gonna. I mean, I've whacked one on the side of the chest. If they're in a dog fight,
You're in trouble. Ladies, don't have coffee.
I mean, Megan and I have chucked water at a dog, and they're like, oh,
Yeah, if you can
top
start
their
with
butt
a
with
five.
that. Yeah.
That's really
But you
what
can't
want.
pin.
I say hit with a water bottle. Mine is usually about a quarter full, but it makes a big noise.
Yeah.
It startles them. They don't like to be startled. If they're in a dog fight,
It's funny. I tend to scream. I don't know why.
You do scream.
I do. I don't know. It's like my first reaction
Because
is
you're just
to yell
adding to it.
loud and try to
You're
scare
just
them.
adding to the excitement. But Sometimes, sometimes it works.
Sometimes it works, I know.
If you can see it coming and get one step ahead of them, that's the name of the game.
And intervene.
What was the highlight of my day? Pilot did not puke in the car. That was the highlight of my day. I gave her a Kong. Maybe to distract her in the car. We went to Tractor Supply, so that wasn't very far. And I had her and Finn in the car, and I gave them each a Kong. And we made it all the way there, and then she did
excellent in the training.
And we got back in the car, and she got back into her Kong,
And we made it all the way back without vomit. That was
the highlight of my
Do
day.
you have a sign around your neck that says I have a dog in the car?
Not yet.
Shame on you.
I need that tag.
That's what we need. Wherever it is.
We have the little signs. I just need to hole punch it.
Oh, is that too hard? Where are they? I'll do it. I hang one on my rear view mirror. Which is where they should be kept.
Somebody's saying Melissa also has additional needs besides hearing. Yes, she does.
I wasn't implying that she's only... Rogue is not there simply because she's deaf. She does have balance problems.
Could you tell us why Charlie was left down in the kennel last night without Steve?
To dinner.
Steve went out to dinner
and chose not to bring Charlie for that evening.
I have no idea.
I'm not real sure.
But he ended up here in the house.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he barked.
I know Steve was helping out Colleen because she was with her.
That's right.
So that might have been why.
I'm so over Colleen that it may not get along.
Yeah, so it could have been something
I've
situational.
heard about a German Shepherd over there.
Yes. Yes. You're right.
Why?
Lance. Okay, I'm done. Hopefully I answered your questions.
Bye.
I'm going to hold punch before I leave. You're on. I don't know if you don't have a nail.
What exactly what?
What is this? I can turn it off.
There, that's and there's a string to put them on. That string I made Lucky Fist out of is perfect. Which is right there at your feet somewhere. Make sure it's too long so that when it hangs on your rear view mirror, it doesn't get in the way of your vision. Oh, let's put it on the string, right? There we go. You got it. Done.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, what are we doing here now? Carly, can you tell us a little about yesterday's? Oh my God. They could not believe, they kept waiting for me to march around in circles. They kept saying, well, how do you train them? When do you train them? When do you train them? And they couldn't accept the idea that we are training them every time we're handling them, regardless of what we're doing. And they, particularly in the arena, when we had all the dogs in the arena, and Devin was running up and down the stairs, which have an open back on them, as you know, and then running up and down the A-frame, and then she put them through the sort of channel, whatever, and just kind of horsing around with them. The whole time she's doing it, they are learning to go up and down stairs that have a hole in the back, which is something that a lot of Great Danes have a fit about. And they're learning to use their muscles in their body and be more agile. And they behaved her perfectly. Or she went running around. They followed her perfectly, which of course comes from the spoon feeding deal. And that's how we train them. And they do behave and they do work. I will be very interested. The film crew is coming back tomorrow at about 10 o'clock. I don't know what they want this time, but now that they've seen George working close up and how he pays attention to Bella. And you don't give him commands, you just talk to him. I'm sort of interested to see what they have to say. But of course it's hard to talk to the one that's kind of in charge because she only speaks Japanese. And the one that's the translator is the wife of the husband who works the camera. That's who they all are. Can you tell how to train a dog to brace? Well, I would start in a chair. You get a dog crossways in front of you, and you get one hand on their shoulders, one on their rear, and you kind of use them to, and you say stay or brace or whatever, and you get them to hold still while you kind of use them to get out of the chair. If it's a very low chair, I have been known to put my arms around their girth rather than put my hands on top of them, because I'm really kind of pulling them toward me to get myself on my feet. Why Charlie left down the kennel? I think it's because Steve was house sitting. Okay, those are Katie's questions. Mention of the documentary shown in the U.S. I don't think it's 3 hours long. There is nothing in the United States that runs for 3 hours. But they did say that they would get us a copy.
How is Bentley and Bailey doing today? They're fine. They're not doing very much because it's too damn cold out.
I think Bailey did go out and pee and poop and things like that,
but she came right back in again. Bentley got just barely off the edge of the porch before he watered my golf cart and came right back in. So
their opinion was
very definitely demonstrated about the cold.
Okay, we did all that. Want to turn it off now? Goodbye. We don't have any mail. We'll do that tomorrow. Bye. Oh, there was one question. Some people were asking who the guy was that was here today. He's one of my friends from high school, Darwin.